Welcome back, folks. Today, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't really have a specific point today, but I'm going to talk about something that I did actually talk about a bit once before. Well, at least it's along the same theme, anyhow. Times have changed. Well, they've changed quite a bit, actually, but horses haven't. Horses are still horses, pretty much exactly the same as they've been since the beginning of time. Now, I said this once before in another video, but I'll elaborate a little more on it, I guess, or take at it from a different angle. You see, many years ago, when I was quite young, I thought a career as an automotive mechanic was a good choice. Well, I never did pursue that career, but before anybody looks down on a lowly mechanic as nothing more than a grease monkey, that's kind of the way some people think of them, they're actually pretty high-tech tradesmen. And there's a lot of specialties. There's automotive mechanics, heavy-duty mechanics, stationary mechanics, aero mechanics, and each one of those requires a great deal of specialized knowledge in order to be able to perform their job well and get to know the equipment that they're working with. Well, in a way, I'm kind of glad I never became an automotive mechanic because I did work in dealerships and I worked alongside of some journeyman mechanics. And unfortunately, one of the downsides to that is, well, times have changed, technology changes, and, well, it changes every year, especially in the automotive industry. And the journeyman mechanics would, well, pretty much every single year, they'd have to go back to school, usually sponsored by the company, but they would have to go take some classes for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to upgrade their knowledge to enlighten them as to all the current technology that is being used in vehicles. And man, that hasn't gotten any easier. In fact, I think that problem has actually gotten worse over the years. I think each year what they need to know is elevated. And when these upgrades that they take too are primarily on one specific brand too, I should elaborate. So, I mean, they're getting overwhelmed by information out there that they can't get to the point where they can't even work on different makes because they use different systems. And, well, back in the day when I worked on cars, they didn't even have computers in them. In fact, most of them still didn't even have electronic ignitions. Very, very simple machines to work on, at least by today's standards. But it also did require a different type of a skill that you had to know in order to be able to work with the machines. Now you have to know more about how to work with the technology and the computers, and the computer tells you what part to replace. And, well, what's that got to do with horses? A lot. Because horses have not changed since the beginning of time. They're still horses. Now, due to modern technology and the availability of information, it's more and more all the time that we need to learn about the horses, but fortunately, due to the internet and a few other things that make information available to us, we are capable of learning a lot more about the horse, getting the information that's already out there. There seems to be a lot more interest in doing research that allows people to actually have the information available that people can get. So, times have changed a lot. But the one thing that has not changed is the horse. And that makes me kind of wish I had gotten into horses when I was much, much younger, because I didn't get real passionate about playing with horses until I was up in years. And by that time, I was kind of glad when I come across horses because, man, they're so much easier to work on than cars. Well, at least modern ones anyhow, because they're still the same. And, what I know about horses is actually a pretty small fraction of the amount of knowledge that's available out there. But it's not going to change next year or the year after, that same knowledge, if it is correct, in fact, because there's lots of misinformation out there. But if the information that you have is, in fact, correct, it's not going to change. It's going to be the same as tomorrow, next year, the year after, and the year after that. That is one of the nice things about horses. They don't change. That's a good thing. Also means that people that are kind of indoctrinated into the modern way of doing things and modern technology are going to find it a little bit difficult to work with horses because, well, They don't work quite the same way. They're not like a computer-operated system where you can push a button and expect a certain result based on the programming. Well, and the programming is quite a bit different too. And well, actually, what is kind of neat about horses is they had an onboard computer long before anybody ever thought of that kind of stuff. It's called the brain. And, well, most of them are kind of pre-programmed with firmware and software from the factory to a certain extent. But just like humans, right from day one, their experiences are all slightly unique, and they all have individual personalities based on individual experiences. I mean, there are no two horses alike out there that have had exactly the same experiences. There are a few horses that have similar personalities, but I can assure you, where I am here, we have a number of horses that have been here quite a while, but we also have a lot of horses that come and go. And at any given time, there's usually about 40 horses around here. And I can assure you, every single one of them is different. There's a few that are similar, but no two are the same. I can guarantee you that. That's one of the interesting things about them. We still got to get to know how that computer in there operates, because there is, in fact, an onboard computer in those things that, well, it's a technology that's very different than what people are used to these days, and it takes a while to get to know it and understand how it works. But you can program it. It's programmable by each individual that gets near it. And that's one of the things that you're basically learning about is you're learning to work on programming when you're learning to teach a horse something, and you're learning on a system that is in essence a very, very old one. It's been around for thousands of years, has always worked pretty much the same, and has always required, if done properly, the same methods to program it. Times have changed. Things are a lot different out there now. Technology is rather overwhelming, but I can assure you the horse has not changed. And that's a bit of a relief because, like I said, you can learn a bit about the horse today. You can learn a little bit about the horse next month, next year. And a year or two down the road, that information is all going to be just as valid as it was today because the horses don't change, thankfully. And remember, subscribe to my channel, but don't just hit the subscribe button. You got to click on that bell right beside it, and well, then you click on your choice of notifications. You pretty much, I think you have to click on all, because I found out the hard way that subscribing alone will not get you notifications when somebody puts up a new video. So please, if you want to subscribe, I got lots of subscribers, not very many views, and unfortunately, whether or not you hear about it through this because you don't get notified about the videos, you get the idea. So click on the subscribe and click on the bell, which gives you a choice of notifications. Click on all. That way you don't miss a thing. Have a good day.